Mike Moore Media, the first place to hear Rockingham County news and information.
Neville Hall, the mayor of Eden, is on the line. Hey, Mayor, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, Mike. Hope you are.
Doing just great. Some good things happening around the city of Eden. So bring us up to date since we last talked. I know a lot of things covered at the August City Council meeting you probably want to touch on as well.
Yeah, we're continuing to move forward with some very exciting things happening around town, and just keeping our fingers crossed on some others. But we're, like you said, good things are happening. So
yeah,
it's a good time.
Let's talk about, for those that didn't get to the event yesterday, the ceremony for the otter holt and the otter sculpture there at Smith River Greenway. That's exciting. It was Otter Day in Eden, I guess, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's what we can unofficially declare that. But this is another public art project that the city's partnered with the Dan River Basin Association, and it's down at the end of the Smith River Greenway, closer towards the traffic circle. And you go down some steps, and there's an otter sculpture there. And we were opening or starting yesterday was the beginning of the otter holt, which is, I guess, for lack of a better term, it's their nest. And so the Public Works Department and the Dan River Basin Association, they have created an artificial nest that we already know that otters are natural to that area, and they have nests on where you can't really see them. So the city built a nest on this side and put a webcam inside of it. So when the otters find it, probably next year, when they find it and deem it suitable for nesting, that we'll have views of it. And hopefully people get interested in the otters and learn about them and therefore want to protect them and increase their population, as opposed to the history has been decreasing. So we're hoping that people enjoy seeing them and want to protect them.
Oh, that's going to be good to have the otter cam when that gets up and going. And, you know, one of the neat things I noticed in the news release that the city put out, that really speaks well for the Smith River, because otters like a nice water quality and nothing that's they're very sensitive to pollution and all kinds of things like that. So it's a healthy habitat and water quality when they're nesting there and having a good time in the river.
Mm-hmm. And someone said yesterday, this is literally the cleanest these rivers have ever been. So that's a good thing. I'm sure it has to do with textiles not being on top of them anymore. But that's unfortunate. But it is nice to have good, clean water.
Yes, it is. Okay.
People are really using the rivers. That's for sure.
They really are. Yeah, people are ready to get out and about, and lots of river recreation for sure. So the welcome mat is out. Otters, come on to Eden. We're ready. Okay.
Come on in.
Now, I wanted you to maybe explain to us something that came up in the City Council meeting in August, and you're familiar with this with your work. Maybe an update on the UDO. It's new to me, the city's Unified Development Ordinance, but this is a very important project for everyone, it sounds like.
Yeah, this relates to zoning in the city, and right now we've had a zoning ordinance. I think the original one was probably adopted in '67 when the city was formed, but there's never been a concise, readable, shareable document. It's always been, whenever there's an issue, you go before the planning department, then the planning board, and then the council, and it gets approved or not, but say it does get approved, then it's stuck into the zoning ordinance, the zoning book, which is 2 inches thick with specific rulings on different properties. So if someone comes behind you and wants to do a similar use, but they're not on the exact same street, they got to go through the same process. So this document is designed to make it more user-friendly, where if you are a developer and you want to do a retail use, all you got to do is go on there, look at the zoning map, to see what area you're in, see where you are on the map and what's allowed, and it's much more concise and it's user-friendly, and it'll simplify having to come in every time you want to try to do something in the city.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's a more concise zoning document is what it is, and it's required by the state of North Carolina by next year. So we're just getting it done a little bit early. So
Yeah.
we're glad to have it.
Well, I was glad to hear that presentation in the meeting. Sounds like this is a lot of hard work in getting everything updated, consolidated, and changed around, and just a lot easier in the whole situation. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, you got over 50 years of different documents that they're trying to consolidate into one, and it's a time-consuming job, and the planning department has done a great job getting everything together and ready to present to the public.
Yeah. Okay. And so there is there are a couple of dates coming up. Maybe we need to mention people want to get one date. I know the planning board just went through a recommendation on that this past week, and then something coming up in September perhaps we need to know about.
Yeah, that September the 10th is the public opportunity, an open house, to have input on the UDO. If there's things that you'd like to see or don't understand, or maybe even would like to add, I'm sure there's probably somebody who has something that we didn't think of. So, yeah, there's September 10th at City Hall in the Eden Room. I think that's going to be an open meeting to offer an opportunity for citizens to have input on this before it's adopted in November.
Okay. So the board will adopt it, the council will adopt it in November, and January 1 it starts. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, most people are not going to notice any difference. I mean, things that are existing already will be grandfathered. If they're legal now, they'll be legal then. But it'll make it easier going forward, and people do not need to be concerned that their business or house is going to be negatively affected. It's just from this point forward, we're going to make it more concise and easier to understand the zoning district.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, those are a couple of things I wanted to mention. I know you talked about new police vehicles, also long process from ordering to delivery, but that's in the works now, I guess?
Yeah, we approved that at the council meeting. I was talking to someone about it yesterday. I said, that's without a police car, a policeman cannot do their job. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a need for them. So even in the time of not doing much capital outlay because of budget concerns, we felt like that was something that they need. They have to we have to keep turning that fleet over, or we'll get way behind like we have on some other departments and never be able to catch up. And that needing to buy 25 cars in 4 years next, a couple years away, then you're in a real budget constraint. So
yeah,
it's better to keep maintaining them and turning them over even in bad times, because they have to have that to do their job.
And that's already in the budget, just final approval, for that.
Yeah, it had already been budgeted, but there have been a couple of things that were already budgeted that when it came time to buy, we've asked the department heads, can you hold off until we have a better feel for the impact of the COVID on our budget. Yeah.
And municipal service is getting a new dump truck, and so that'll be helpful to them as well. Got to have those vehicles at work.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, those are some things I just wanted to mention. Anything else that we need to go over, Mayor?
Nothing other than what I think people can obviously see as they go through downtown Leaksville. The Central Hotel project is continuing to move forward, and it's that's something I'm really excited about, and I'm looking forward to seeing it come to completion and get 25, 30 families living downtown and walking to restaurants and that kind of thing. That's going to be a true transformation piece in Eden. So they're working there. If you see that dumpster out on Washington Street, it's just temporary, but construction is not pretty, but it's worth it when you get it done.
Oh yeah. They're continually filling that one up, aren't they?
Yeah, it's quite the project. So, but it's progressing, and I speak with the owner occasionally, and he's excited about it and still moving as fast as he can to get it finished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he has to get it finished in 8 months from that day one of starting. So I've had a lot of people say to me, he'll never get it done. You can't do it. Well, he's got to, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got multiple crews there working, so hopefully they can make it happen faster.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Anything on some other businesses around? I know we've got a lot of new shops that are opening around on the boulevard on Washington Street, and some activity there on the front in Draper. So even in difficult times, people are opening new businesses.
And you're right, and I think that maybe people are expecting that after the recession that the smaller communities like ours are going to be the place that people want to get out of the big cities and come to and live a less crowded life. So we're expecting that not just the housing boom, but along with people come business needs, and so people are opening businesses all over town. So and I think it's going to get better when we have hopefully some good announcements to make for economic development in the near future.
Okay, so some good announcements coming soon, it looks like, and not only for Eden, but for the county and some other municipalities. It looks like some positive things moving forward in a lot of good ways.
Yeah, any announcement that's in our region, especially in our county, is good for the whole county.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's good for the tax base. It's good for the employment. I mean, it's no problem to drive 15 miles to work. I mean,
no. Mm-mm. Yeah.
I mean, I saw a funny thing yesterday that said it's a 1 hour drive from Atlanta to Atlanta.
Yeah, I get the word. I get the message. Yeah, I
mean, it's not a problem to drive across town, across the county.
No, I would not want to be there. Sorry for the folks in Atlanta, but and that brings up an interesting point. It's nice to be in close proximity to the Triad in Greensboro and Winston-Salem and all of those, and really not that far to Raleigh and not that far to Charlotte and Asheville. A lot of folks. Yeah, that's right. But right here we've got we're in a good place right here, aren't we?
I think so, and I think people are starting to figure that out.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's our housing market's very tight, and I know people are selling their houses the day or the week they put them up for sale. So hopefully that's a good sign, and we've got people wanting to be here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're doing some remodeling, construction work here at the house, and things like that going on as well. Well, I'm looking at the calendar. We've got an anniversary coming up, September 13th. Eden will be 53 years old. So I know we had the big 50th birthday party 3 years ago now. But I'll wish you and the city of Eden a happy birthday a little bit early, Mayor.
Well, thank you, Mike.
And all the best to all the city crews. We were talking before we started the program here about the hard-working folks with Public Works and everybody that's out there just working and doing a good job and what their task is, and I appreciate them very much.
Mm-hmm. And along those lines, I also want to mention, because I don't think we've talked since he got here, but John Mendenhall has started his position as a city manager.
Oh, yeah.
And I've just heard so many good things in the community and from employees about the relationship already with him, and I'm just, want to welcome him here, and I'm hoping we can catch up. I was going to ask him to do a 100-day assessment after his first 100 days and tell me, hopefully, what he thinks we need to look at more closely and what's going good. So, but we're just excited to have him here. He's very, very smart, very qualified, and fair and friendly, and that's what everybody's saying that dealt with him. So
yeah.
But it is good to have him here as well as all of our employees, like we talked about.
Yeah.
Some of them don't normally get heard from or spoken to until there's something wrong. So now you're right. They work hard all the time.
And good to meet John Mendenhall. Very impressed with him for sure. All right, well, Mayor, we'll wrap it up. Thank you. It's a pleasure as always, and we'll talk again soon.
All right, thank you, Mike.
Okay, the Mayor of Eden, Neville Hall. Let me direct you to the city's website, edennc.us, and to exploreedennc.com.